We need to get out of the cold. Remind me why we're in New Jersey again?
There are Cinemassassins on our tail. We have to hide out somewhere that no one wants to be.
New Jersey certainly fits that bill.
Why don't we hide out in that condemned building over there?
By Jersey standards, that's practically a mansion.
This looks oddly familiar. I'm getting flashbacks to my childhood.
I thought you said you'd never been to New Jersey.
I haven't. These buildings are all the same.
What buildings?
Catholic churches. Ugh.
Oh yeah, this is definitely Catholic architecture, designed to make you feel small and insignificant in the presence of God.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Dogma. That Kevin Smith movie from 1999.
Well, being on the run has never stopped us from conclaving before. Now, where did I leave my gavel?
I tied it to a string. It's dangling from your belt.
Thank you.
In the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of New Jersey, in what was once a Catholic church, past the pulpit from whence the weekly homily was read, beyond the cupboards filled with sacramental wine, a secret society assembles to scrutinize those films rumored to drive viewers to madness and dissolution. Draw closer, dear listener, and let your trembling ears sup upon the eldritch knowledge of the Cinemania Society.
We
the fellows
of
the lenses of palm do convene to judge if this cinema worthy of our esteem, or whether it should be cast down as worthless hokum.
Let us don our friends' judgment.
We the fellows... Oh.
We disciples of the Cinemania Society have studied the mysteries of the motion picture and meditated upon the silver screen for many years. Therefore, we have become inured to the films we scrutinize, which may contain hazards unsuitable to young and sensitive ears. As such, we advise anyone listening to do so with discretion. Guard your ears carefully, lest you develop a severe and irreversible case of cinemania. Present at our conclave today are...
Sinquisitor Ethan, keeper of the lenses.
I am Scrutinizer Zachariah, guardian of the door.
Profligator Daniel, possessor of the word.
Verifier Andy, master illuminator.
Professor Andrea, scholar of San Francisco.
And I, Auntie Hope, keeper of the books. And I...
Oh, no. You have to do it from the pulpit.
Up there? Why?
Waste of a good pulpit otherwise.
Fine. I feel like I'm running for office up here.
Higher office?
Denied. That's barely a pun.
I don't know. About that.
It was pretty good.
Silence, heathens! Oh, shit, that worked. Alright then. I, Auntie Hope, will serve as Pontifex of Presentment for today's subject of scrutiny, Dogma, a 1999 film written and directed by Kevin Smith as part of his View Askew Universe series, starring Linda Fiorentino, Salma Hayek, Alan Rickman, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and the whole cadre of actors that Smith casts in all of his films.
Actually, I think his name is pronounced Ben Affleck.
Matt Damon! Matt Damon!
Brother Andy will act as master castigator for the film. Andy, read the list of charges.
Thank you. The charges are criminal misuse of golfing equipment, attempted assault with a fish, filming while under the influence of Monty Python, implying that people watching at an airport is entertaining, traveling without genitals, using a cartoon golden calf as a stand-in for a certain cartoon mouse, suggesting that neutrality in a conflict is actually more dangerous than taking a side, causing a silly, pointless controversy without a license, coming in under budget, improper use of a Canadian, proper use of George Carlin,
Applying full damage from an aerosolized weapon to what is clearly a Type 4 shit demon, meaning it should have resistance to gas attacks and only take half damage.
Oh, shut up! We told you that's not a real charge. Was I? Violation of the Accords of Vaticans 1, 2, and probably 3, whenever that happens. trafficking and exploitation of a scion, getting snazzy with some dang wiggity wild primo kush bong. Trigger warnings for this film include non-male depiction of a Christian god, a voice that literally kills, claims that Jesus was black, claims that Jesus owes somebody $5, depiction of corporate shitheels actually getting their comeuppance, insinuation that the Christian Bible is not literal fact, and the actual trigger warnings are language, nudity, violence, bloody gore, and references to suicide.
Don't forget to mention Catholicism as a general thing.
And Catholicism.
Wait up. Where's Alyssa?
She stayed back on the island, remember?
No.
Remember how we found that resort on the island?
Yeah.
And remember how we all got drunk?
Sorta.
And remember how we kind of trashed the place?
As usual.
Have we ever gone anywhere and not caused mayhem and destruction?
My memory kind of fades out during the drinking.
Okay, well, the staff were understandably pissed because all that broken shit comes out of their paychecks. And we were understandably appalled by that.
Which is equal parts shitty and illegal, so Alyssa stayed behind to help them unionize.
Which takes a minute, so she's still there enjoying the warm ocean air.
And delicious fruity drinks.
And social justice.
Cool. Fight on, sister.
Okay, now let's get to the film already. So whoever's going to read this first recap, please read from the book of recap, verses 1 through 3, chapters 5 through 7.
Book of what now?
I'm getting into the groove up here, right? Just make it up like always.
It's like you're making it up.
Yeah, just like all religions are making it up.
Hey, everyone else has made theirs up. Mine is for real, okay?
Of course.
Hail's flying spaghetti monster.
This is why I'm a necromancer.
Ramen to that.
Ramen.
After the opening credits, which are definitely paying homage to the opening credits of Monty Python's Holy Grail, no mention of a moose though, we see an old man taking in the scenic view from a pier on the Jersey Shore. Suddenly, he's attacked from behind by 3 rollerblading, hockey stick-wielding teen hooligans.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's really odd that no matter where people are from in this movie, Wisconsin, Illinois, Europe, hell, they all remind me exactly of the kids I went to high school with.
And you went to high school in New Jersey?
Oh, yeah. I grew up in New Jersey.
I'm sorry?
No. I went to school in New Jersey, for real.
No, I'm sorry. The teens proceed to viciously beat the old man, like really going to town with those hockey sticks. We cut quickly away from this disturbing scene. But remember, all 4 of these guys, they're going to be a bit important later. Enter the incomparable George Carlin as Cardinal Glick. The Cardinal is standing in front of a stately Catholic church on the verge of its centennial. He's given a press conference on the new Catholicism Wow campaign. All of the pop art style signage, modern slogans, and fun new attitude are part of an effort to replenish the failing attendance numbers that the church has been experiencing lately. The crowning glory of this rebranding is an amazing icon they're calling Buddy Christ, and boy does it pop.
It's literally a classic style Jesus figure, but he's winking and sporting a giant shit-eating grin while one hand gives a thumbs up and the other's pointing a finger gun. Honestly,
I know.
My favorite image of Christ ever.
Yeah.
And I went to Catholic school, so I've seen a few.
Yeah, honestly, if you guys had that instead of like this bleeding dude up on a cross, I might have been a little less intimidated by y'all.
Yeah, no doubt. The Buddy Christ has actually become such a icon. I had a friend of mine who had a small one on the dashboard.
Oh yeah, I have an
car.
action figure of it.
Everyone loves Buddy Christ.
Everybody loves Buddy Christ. I love that line he says. He's like, we're just workshopping the name still, but Buddy Christ, doesn't that just pop?
What I think is especially funny is this is meant as a joke, right? that, oh my God, the church would never actually go with an image like this. No one would ever actually find this more endearing. But in fact, at this point...
But then we all do.
We actually all do, right? Because the actual church and the actual Christ imagery is so fucking disturbing.
Bleak and dystopian.
Yeah, you'd think I'd like it more.
Moving right along.
Glick talks about how this will be a better, friendlier Catholic church as they take this year to renew not only the church's spirit, but also its style. We pull back from the news coverage of Catholicism, wow, and enter the Milwaukee airport. It's obviously pre-9/11 because there's no security and anybody can just walk up anywhere. Yes, kids, this is really what airports used to be like in the 90s. We see a young Matt Damon having a deep and meaningful conversation with a nun.
For some reason, airports were huge hubs for religious proselytizing back in the day.
Well, I guess if any place can make you believe in the eternal rings of damnation, the abyss that stretches from here unto the infinite punishment of the damned, that is hell, it's an airport.
Okay. After pretty much convincing this nun that the religion she's devoted her life to is a scam, Damon sits down next to his brother from another mother, Ben Batman Affleck.
This was just after Good Will Hunting, but before the two of them got really big.
Yeah,
You know, think about Loki, I guess the angel that's convincing the nun, is that he isn't content just to be discontent and kicked out of heaven. He has to, stick in the knife a little, convert the converted back to,
Misery loves company,
atheism.
right?
Yeah,
I find
really.
it weird that a better name for an angel than Loki would actually be Matt Damon.
But yeah, I love how Bartleby just gives him shit. He's like, you know God exists. You've spoken to him. Why do you insist on messing with these people?
Yeah. We learn that the pair are fallen angels. Damon is Loki, the former angel of death, and Affleck is Bartleby, the former angel of nothing important enough to mention. After explaining his love for airports and the amazing people-watching moments they provide, Bartleby hands Loki a newspaper clipping that somebody sent them in the mail and tells his buddy, we're going home.
Where the hell are they getting mail?
I know, when the first time I watched this movie, I thought that they actually lived in the airport. I mean, they're fallen angels, doesn't really matter where they live, but if you look closely when Bartleby's holding the envelope, it's addressed to occupants, 345 Redemption Boulevard, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So they don't have a home, they at least have a mailbox.
Yeah, and Kevin Smith and company are known for massive numbers of serious deep cut Easter eggs.
Right. But at least on Google Maps, that's not an actual address. There's no Redemption Boulevard in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
God,
I just
could you
wanted to
imagine
see
if it was a church?
No, I imagine that they share a little walk-up studio apartment. They're the original odd couple.
Yeah. As Loki reads this article about Catholicism, wow, we get more backstory from some dogmatic details that are going to work in the former angels' favor to get them back into heaven. As part of the kickoff for the campaign, Glick is going to bless that New Jersey church we saw earlier because it's celebrating its centennial. This involves making the entrance a point of plenary indulgence. No, this isn't a fancy name for an all-you-can-eat buffet. Such a shame. It's a rare bit of Catholic dogma that means once you pass through that doorway, all of your sins are forgiven and you get to start with a fresh slate. That's pretty cool, actually. Loki reminds his buddy that God swore the two of them would never be allowed back into heaven, so he doesn't see how this is going to help them to go home. Bartleby reasons that if they cut their wings, become human, pass through the doorway, then die right away, they'll be dying sinless, and God will have to take them back into heaven. They were banished to Wisconsin, for fuck's sake. They have been punished enough. Loki argues that this is church dogma, not a divine mandate. So it's not going to help him, but Bartleby has it all figured out. God told Peter when he established the Catholic Church that anything the church said was going to be the same in heaven. So any dogmatic law or papal dictate actually is essentially the Word of God. That's how it's going to help them.
I found this whole thing this conceit really interesting because it rang really true to me of Judaism. Usually it's Judaism that has all of these like very specific little laws and loopholes and
That's true.
like lawyering of everything. And Christianity
This is from the Old Testament, back where they intersect.
Well, yeah, fair enough. But like Christianity to me was always this loosey-goosey, he's one, but he's three, but he's one. Don't worry about it. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's the newer Christianity. The old school Catholicism is fire and brimstone and lawyers and
Oh, fire and brimstone, yeah, but I don't remember it being very legalese. But I also didn't go to Sunday school.
I think this is pre-Cataclysm 2, right? There's been 2 of them?
Catechism?
Catechism, yeah. What did I say?
Cataclysm.
Tomato.
Do you mean schism?
I mean...
We are not going to relitigate the Council of Nicaea here and now.
Thank you.
Funny enough, plenary indulgences predate that schism, and we're a thing, though not quite in this way. People could buy their forgiveness of sins.
Yes, it was called
yeah.
simony, and it was a good money earner for the church back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a
Had to
big
give
part
up
of
that
why.
when they reformed.
Yeah, it was a big part of the Reformation and why Protestants they thought buying your way into heaven or out of hell or limbo or whatever was kind of shady.
Yeah, as far as I know, indulgences weren't ever a thing except for selling them or giving them as favors to get stuff that the church wanted. So, like, that's how far back Glick is going to bring them back.
Oh, they still exist though.
I remember something about one of the reasons Henry VIII created the Church of England was because so many of his lords, when they were dying in order to get favor with the church, were giving all their lands to the church, and he was losing too much tax revenue from that. So he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna make my own church.
It's like that scene in Blackadder where they've got the dead guy dying and there's the priest on one side and the king on the other trying to convince him who he should leave his lands
That's exactly what it was. Yeah,
The church needed ways to raise funds. This was before we had gift shop technology.
Well, yeah. One of my teachers once said that the Catholic Church was one of the best business ventures ever embarked upon.
I mean,
Yeah.
The captured market, right?
Right. Loki praises Bartleby's anal retentive attention to detail and hands over the magazine clipping of his own. Before they go and get all of their sins forgiven, Loki wants to commit just one more, but it's a big one. They're going after Mubi, the golden calf, subtlety,
Subtlety!
Right. And its creators. Loki wants to pick up his sword of death one more time and go on a hardcore old school testament style, killing all the firstborn, blood river, locust kind of shit killing spree. As they enter the elevator, he tells Bartleby that with only 4 days left on Earth, if I had a dick, I'd get laid. But let's do the next best thing. Let's go kill some folks.
And spit take.
Whoa, what was that thing you just said? The one that sounded like a Harry Potter spell?
Plenary indulgence?
Yeah, that. I wonder if any of the doorways in this church got that cool get out of hell free card spell put on them.
Even if they did, none of us could refrain from sinning long enough for it to matter.
yeah, if you're going to be dogmatic enough to believe in plenary indulgence, then you got to be dogmatic enough to follow all the nitpicky Old Testament rules.
Hey. If there is one thing I can do, it is follow rules.
Even I can refrain from a simple list of 10. I've never even killed anyone on purpose.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Sweet child of mine.
No singing unless it's me.
Now, what do you think of this shiny white wizard robe? Do I look sexy?
Oh, that is an altar boy's robe, you freak. Anyone who finds that sexy had better be in hell.
And please stop dancing around like that. That is so wrong.
Not to mention... a tripping hazard.
Whoa, watch out for that stack of Bibles. Those look like first edition.
Ooh, sign?
Oh no, someone catch the Bibles before they topple over into the reliquary. Too late.
Holy shit, are those bones?
Saints' bones, probably. Why not?
Because creepy, that's why.
Help, I'm not candles. If I ever get out of this, I promise I'll type up a cheap trash.
Stop thrashing around. No, stay away from those votive candles before you catch fire. And now you're on fire. Because that's what you always wanted to be when you grew up. On fire.
Put me out.
Flail left. No, your other left. Oh, great, it's flailing right up to the altar. And there goes the tablecloth.
That's the corporal cloth.
The altar's already burned to shit. Hey, the scorch mark's in the shape of a pentagram. Is that normal? Oh, there it goes streaking down the aisle. Hey, keep going. You're headed towards some water.
Oh, get out of the baptismal font! Please don't drink the holy water. Oh, no, don't blow directly on the candles. You're gonna blow them out.
Happy birthday, dear Clarky.
No
singing!
Unless it's me.
I'm away.
And cue the mutant typewriter rolling around in some Jersey trash like a wet dog. Ugh, McDonald's bags covered in cheeseburger drippings, no less. That's just not cricket.
Ugh, Clark kosher.
Leave it to Clerk Nova to prove my point.
What's that now?
I count 1, 2, at least 13 sacrilegious acts right there. Professor, care to read the litany of charges?
On Clark Nova, my pleasure. Sexual temptation, wearing robes made of mixed fibers, mistreatment of holy books containing the name of God, desecration of a grave, proselyting with his head covered, burning the corporal cloth, defiling the altar, swimming in the baptismal font, taking the Lord's name in vain, drinking holy water, spitting in a church, blowing out votive candles, and touching the fat of a pig.
Fucking hell.
Well, I didn't do any of that, so I'm going straight for that plenary in doorway.
Hang on just a minute there, Sinquisitor. Remember that mango you were eating the other day?
Sure.
Sinner, chicken dinner.
How is that a sin?
Did you check how old the tree was before the mango was picked? Because unless it was at least 3 years old, you're fucked.
Wait, what? Did you read the whole Bible or something?
How do you think I became an atheist?
I don't feel so good.
Maybe a little bump will perk you up?
Yeah, maybe don't do drugs in a church.
Why not? All the clerical staff are.
I thought you were only allowed to drink Kool-Aid.
Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing that's ever been done in a church, but let's get back to the movie while Clark Nova takes a little time to chill the fuck out.
We cut to a Catholic Mass at a church in Illinois where no one is at all interested in what the priest has to say. He mentions a collection for John Doe, Jersey, an unidentified man found beaten on the Jersey shore who is currently unconscious and on life support. Sound familiar? The camera zooms in on our heroine, Bethany, as she half-assedly recites the profession of faith, and then we see her at work, a women's health clinic, complete with sign-wielding protesters at the door.
This movie got a lot of protesters, mostly from folks who did not understand the point of the movie at all. A lot like Life of Brian, you know. Kevin Smith heard about one of these planned protests near him and decided to join. He actually ended up being on the news, interviewed live, and no one recognized him. Actually, they did recognize him. They just couldn't say that it was Kevin Smith because he didn't identify himself, but they were pretty damn sure it was him.
I think a lot of people didn't recognize him, and I kind of feel like something similar would probably happen if Jesus ever did actually come back.
The protesters definitely that he was protesting with didn't recognize him, but the news crew did.
Yeah, they kept saying, "Wait, are you?" And he'd be like, No, I don't know what you're talking about. No, you look a lot like, oh yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
The best story, though, is they got really excited for this. So they went all out making signs.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they got there, one of the other guys had this, really lame ass, I just got a piece of paper and a marker and wrote something. And then he saw theirs, and he was just like, oh. And he kind of hid his behind his back because he was embarrassed about his sign. Now, admittedly, I forget exactly what they wrote, but they had some kind of profanity.
Dogma is dog shit.
Dogma is dog shit. That's right. So a couple of the like lead protesters were like, "You can't have that here." It's like, what? What's wrong? Dogma is dog shit. I'm like, well, yeah, we know, but you can't say that. It's so. But they still didn't fucking recognize him.
Yeah, they were like the most zealous and enthusiastic protesters protesting their own movie.
Yeah, no, it was a glorious, like, just self-eating snake, the whole situation.
Yeah, you can see the clips on YouTube, might be worth the Google.
So next we see a nice suburban house where the demon Azrael, played by Buick Universe alum Jason Lee, and the 3 street hockey hooligans from earlier have decided to kill the occupant and set up their base of operations. A nice air-conditioned base. No pleasure, no rapture, no exquisite sin greater than central air, in case you forget that it's hot in hell.
Man, I can't forget that because that's true. And where I live, it gets up to like 114 pretty regularly. And when I have central air, it's a blessing.
Azrael tells his trio of demon lackeys that the powers that be will try to contact the last scion, and it's their job to find her first and kill her. No, not Scion as in the car company. They weren't released until 2003. Scion as in relative of Jesus. Don't worry, it'll be explained better later. Back to Bethany. She's in bed and all of a sudden, Alan fucking Rickman is in her bedroom, engulfed in flames and repeating, "Behold the Metatron." Bethany grabs a fire extinguisher and then a baseball bat. After extinguishing her nocturnal visitor, she threatens him with the bat and demands to know who he is.
I usually use something else to extinguish my nocturnal visitors.
Ew.
The Metatron, duh, he only just said it 8 times, but she was a bit distracted by the whole appearing out of nowhere in a ball of flame spit. She tells him to take what he wants, just no killing or raping. He tells her he couldn't if he wanted to since angels are ill-equipped, and pulls his pants down to prove his point.
I love that. He goes, I'm as anatomically correct as a Ken doll.
That's pretty good.
Giant latex diaper.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
He also shoves off his impressive wingspan, but she still doesn't know who the Metatron is. He admonishes her, "You people, if there isn't a movie about it, it isn't worth knowing, is it?" Well, now there is.
I mean, he's not wrong. This movie is the only reason I know what the Metatron is.
I mean, I knew the Metatron first as the most bitching power in Mechanicus, the realm of lawful neutralness in D&D.
Oh. I thought he was the nemesis of Optimus Prime, but there you go.
Alan Rickman, his best line of the entire movie, I think, just due to his delivery, is when he goes, "What are you going to do? Hit me with that fish?" And her baseball bat turns into a fish. But it's just how he just says fish. It's just amazing.
Everything about him is
Alan Rickman, rest in peace.
Yes.
So he explains that the Metatron is an angel who serves as the voice of God. Because God's true voice will explode a tiny human body, they went through 5 atoms before they figured out that one. Metatron and Bethany materialize in a Mexican restaurant, and he explains that she's being charged with a holy crusade. No, not to find a grail. She needs to go to a church in New Jersey and stop a couple of angels from entering and thus negating all of existence. Bethany is understandably confused. Metatron explains that Loki was the angel of death until he and Bartleby got drunk after a particularly bloody plague, decided that he didn't want to do God's dirty work any longer. The result of this was that God decreed that the angels could no longer imbibe alcohol, and that Loki and Bartleby would never be allowed back into heaven. So if their plan to get back into heaven works, then they will have reversed God's decree. And since God is infallible, and it's a founding principle of existence, proving him wrong is a big no-no, which will result in the end of the world as we know it. Bethany is not interested in this holy quest, because she has all but lost her faith after the events of her life thus far. Namely, being told she was unable to have children and then divorced by her husband because of it.
Man, what an asshole.
Metatron lets her know that if she does go on the quest, 2 prophets will find and accompany her, adding that one will be silent and the other who talks will refer to himself as a prophet. She is leaving the clinic the next day and is attacked by Azrael's trio of hockey hooligans. Just when it looks like shit is about to go very, very badly for Bethany, in come the View Askew universe's two favorite characters, Jay and Silent Bob. They proceed to beat back the hooligans and introduce themselves. Jay tells her they were at the clinic in hopes of meeting loose women. Oy.
It's almost worse than being protesters.
She thanks them but says she just needs to go home. Jay's upset that she doesn't want to hang out and rants about how he should just go back to New Jersey and restart his business so he can, quote, make myself a profit. You can all but see the light bulb over Bethany's head when she hears this.
Oh, yeah. A funny thing about Jay Muse, when he got the script for this, he was told by Kevin Smith that, he was going to be working with Alan Rickman, who was a professional, old school English actor, and that, not to do his normal, fucking around and improving half his lines kind of shit. So Muse took this really, 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 personally, and when he, showed up, Kevin Smith was like, so do you know your lines? He's like, oh yeah, I memorized the whole script. He's like, go ahead, ask me anything. And Kevin Smith was like, wait, you memorized all your lines? He's like, no, everybody's lines. So, he was serious about this.
That's awesome. It's cool to hear you actually buckle down at least once.
Well,
I just hope that at some point in the Harry Potter movies, Rickman was like, I just wish you were as prepared as Jason Mewes.
Scooch to the fucking booch.
This whole movie actually did start a lifelong friendship between at least Smith and Rickman. They got along really well. Apparently Rickman was just a doll to work with.
Oh, I've heard nothing but good things about Rickman. I wish I could have met him.
He was the dopest motherfucker.
He was.
Okay, everybody, time for All Saints' Day. The targets is inside.
The plan is to sneak attack, see?
Exactly. Bust out with a sacramental knuckle dusters, and Mary, you brought the blessed wood plank, with all the nails stuck in it?
How many times I gotta tell you? It's Marie, not Mary.
Silencio! Everyone, won't you take your positions, wait for the signal?
And then we crucify him.
That episode of the Cinemania Society was written, produced, and performed by Andrew Palladino, Andy Slack, Daniel Scribner, Ethan Ireland, Zachariah Burks, and Hope Bravo. Sound design, mixing, mastering, and editing by Ethan Ireland. Music by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Sound effects and incidental music courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Visit our social media feeds on Facebook, Twitter, no, I'm not calling it whatever that other name is, at TCS_Cinemania, Instagram at The Cinemania Society, and Reddit at r/The Cinemania Society. If you really like what you've heard, visit us on Patreon and chuck us a couple bones, because making podcasts ain't free. The Cinemania Society is a product of the Cinemania Society, LLC.